In the heart of Paris, Sam reluctantly attends his ex-girlfriend's party, motivated solely by the desire to reclaim his old tapes. Amid the revelry, he politely waits, an outsider in a sea of unfamiliar faces, as his ex entertains other guests. Growing impatient, Sam finally requests his belongings' whereabouts, intent on retrieving them himself. She directs him to an office and promises a later conversation. Unperturbed by the inebriated commotion in the hallway, Sam secures himself in the office to search for his possessions. A sudden nosebleed startles him, and he takes a moment to recuperate, eventually succumbing to sleep. Unbeknownst to him, chaos erupts outside. The following morning, he gathers his belongings, unaware of the horror that waits. As the door swings open, Sam is greeted by a gruesome scene of pandemonium, blood-drenched chaos, and a startling revelation. The partygoers, including his ex, have transformed into ravenous zombies. He quickly seals himself inside, peering out the window to see the same nightmarish scenario playing out everywhere, with survivors running for their lives as the world crumbles into a nightmare of the undead. During the chaos-stricken streets of Paris, a hapless family's attempt to escape in their car ends in tragedy as the blaring horn lures hungry zombies who swiftly encircle and dispatch them. With the apartment eerily silent, Sam scours the guests' left-behind jackets and bags, stumbling upon their cell phones, which replay desperate calls for help and final farewells to loved ones. Seeking refuge on the rooftop, Sam's hope dwindles as he finds no signs of life or rescue. Determined to endure, he methodically cleans the rooms, eradicating the remnants of infected blood. Unexpectedly, a mysterious sound from the apartment below draws his attention, followed by a gunshot creating a hole in the floor. Peering through, he discovers his downstairs neighbor has taken his own life after shooting his infected wife. Armed with a newfound determination to survive, Sam secures food from the kitchen, seizes the man's weapon, and gathers ammunition. Skillfully navigating the now deserted corridors, he fortifies the building, even acquiring keys to all the apartments. Ignoring the grasping zombie limbs at the caretaker's window, Sam takes control of the building's safety, sealing himself away from the zombie-ravaged world outside. After devouring a can of tuna for sustenance, Sam collects valuable supplies and organizes the apartment keys by number, planning to systematically explore each unit. His initial entry into the first apartment proves perilous as a zombified family lunge at him, but after a fierce struggle, Sam fends them off, swiftly marking the door with an X to avoid revisiting. Subsequent apartments yield no hostile surprises, allowing Sam to amass food and unconventional items, including a paintball gun, a much-needed discovery for a musician. Among his findings, he cherishes an MP3 player, old cassettes, and a set of drums. With a mask for protection, Sam secures the building, only to be startled by a lurking elevator zombie. Recognizing its non-aggressive demeanor, he restrains it with a belt. In the evenings, Sam relishes meals while reminiscing to the tunes of his old tapes. He monitors the ever-present zombies outside, meticulously rationing food and marking time on a window grid. To pass the days, he explores the apartment and cautiously indulges in drumming sessions, mindful of the zombies drawn to the noise. In this new world, Sam strives to maintain both his sanity and his survival. Days blur together as Sam maintains his routine, marking time on the window, preparing his meals, and occasionally ascending to the rooftop to survey the deserted cityscape. Armed with the paintball gun, he engages in a macabre game of target practice on the undead figures parading the streets, venting his frustration by defacing his ex's photos with each conquest. Sam records a symphony of sounds from random objects, weaving them into makeshift melodies. One day, a noxious odor alerts him to the decay below, prompting Sam to relocate the deceased neighbors to the balcony, encased in sleeping bags with their cherished possessions. A solemn farewell follows before he seals the room with tape to contain the fetid air. During a shower, the water supply dwindles. In the dead of night, the ominous sound of an approaching zombie horde disrupts his rest, and Sam is thrust into a life-or-death struggle to fend off the intruders, his survival instincts once again tested in this harrowing new reality. Awaking from a nightmarish episode, Sam's cry of anguish is muffled by the realization that it was a dream. The following day, he augments his daily routine by introducing exercise and circling the building while accompanying his efforts with music. Pausing near the elevator, he decides to christen the elevator zombie Alfred, engaging in one-sided conversations with his undead neighbor. When rain finally graces the desolate city, Sam improvises a water collection system using an array of pots and containers, luxuriating in a long-awaited cleansing. Next, he sits beside the elevator, puffing on a cigar, confiding in Alfred about the torment of not knowing his family's fate. A surprise awaits Sam as he peers through the window with the paintball gun, spotting a lone cat on the streets. His heart racing, he dashes downstairs, cautiously extending an offering of tuna, only to have the cat spooked by a sudden noise. In a bid to reconnect with life, Sam lays down his weapon and embarks on a mission to find the elusive feline, determined to offer it a haven in this eerie new world. Hidden behind a row of cars, Sam inadvertently draws the attention of a relentless zombie. With swift reflexes, he dives into a nearby vehicle, propelling the zombie through the window. However, another undead creature rapidly approaches. Sam, in a split-second maneuver, retreats to the back seat, slips out through the passenger door, and bolts back to the building, sealing the door behind him before the zombies can breach it. Returning to the apartment, he spots the cat, now relaxed among the zombies, and takes a chilling shot. But as he turns, a bloodstain on the floor reveals a wound on his leg, a souvenir from the car encounter. After tending to his wound, Sam scrutinizes himself in the mirror, anxiety gnawing at him. Fearing infection, he prepares his weapon to self-terminate if necessary. Seated in silent vigilance, he unintentionally discharges a round in his sleep, awakening unaltered but jittery. While caring for his plants later, he hears a peculiar noise and yells out, receiving no response. Through the window, he spies a figure across the street, but cannot ascertain if it's a human or a zombie. Seeking clarity, he ascends to the rooftop, yet the barren landscape yields no signs of life, leaving Sam in a perplexing and solitary existence. As the chill of winter encroaches, Sam returns to the apartment, fashioning a makeshift pillow fort and igniting a fire to prepare a warm bath. Attempting to relax, he's haunted by fleeting, disconcerting noises that vanish as quickly as they surface. The specter of dwindling food reserves casts a pall, prompting Sam to ready a bag for a supply run. However, his fear proves insurmountable, and he remains within the safety of his dwelling. Loneliness gnaws at Sam, driving him to drink. One fateful afternoon, he erupts into a tirade against Alfred, bemoaning their shared solitude, and inadvertently provokes a frenzied reaction. His rage and despair find an outlet in drumming, drawing the attention of the zombies, who congregate outside the window, clamoring for the source of the noise. Sam ultimately apologizes to Alfred for his outburst. Later, he carefully rations his dwindling food while immersing himself in the voices of his family on old tapes, his emotions culminating in a violent outburst. In the evening, Sam startles awake to a noise, instinctively firing a shot through the door, only to discover a wounded woman. He tends to her injuries and offers solace. The woman, Sarah, reveals her survival tactics in the grim state of the remaining survivors. Resuming this harrowing existence, Sam and Sarah form a tenuous bond amidst the backdrop of an uncaring, zombie-ravaged world. Although the zombies exhibit an aversion to heights, Sarah's survival strategy involves never staying in one place for more than a week. Sam tries to convince her that their building is safe, but she remains cautious. The gunshot from the previous night attracted unwanted attention, and she fears that the relentless zombies will eventually breach their door. As days pass, Sam and Sarah take their daily walk through the building. Her fear of Alfred, the elevator zombie, is palpable, but Sam reassures her. Their budding companionship extends to their shared love for making music, a source of delight for them both. In the face of dwindling food supplies, Sam is compelled to take drastic action. He cuts a hole in the X-marked door and eliminates the zombies within, securing access to the much-needed sustenance. However, upon returning to his apartment, he discovers Sarah's absence. Her desire to practice jumping across to a neighboring building alarms Sam, who deems it too perilous. Tensions rise as they grapple with the newfound challenges of their fragile alliance. Sarah vehemently disagrees, pointing out that staying would either drive them to madness or result in the zombies eventually breaking down the door. Enraged, she storms back into the apartment. Sam follows, but her unresponsiveness triggers a dawning realization. Sarah had never awakened when Sam tended to her wounds. Her presence had been a hallucination. As Sam enters the room, he discovers her lifeless body on the bed, gripping her hand as tears flow. He covers her with a sheet and candles, bidding her a heartfelt farewell. Examining her bag, he uncovers a digital camera and sifts through the pictures. During family photos, a picture of him on the neighboring rooftop confirms that Sarah had been the apparition. Resigned to his unraveling sanity, Sam resolves to leave. He sets his old tapes ablaze and collects Sarah's bag, intending to escape via the rooftop. Recalling Alfred, he releases the elevator zombie, who docilely follows him. The burning tapes trigger the fire alarm, and the zombies, finally breaking down the front door, swarm after Sam. Desperate, he fights off as many as he can, but is eventually overwhelmed. Sam pushes them aside, opting to flee rather than confront. Inside the elevator, he pulls the gate closed, ignoring the grasping hands outside. Scaling the elevator shaft, Sam races toward an empty apartment, but a persistent zombie tails him. Using curtains as a temporary barrier, he distracts the undead creature. However, a clumsy maneuver exposes his location, rekindling the perilous chase. Sam springs into action, striking the zombie a couple of times before leveraging a couch to pin it down. Climbing atop the furniture, he uses the makeshift opening to return to his apartment, now enveloped in a haze of smoke. The room teems with zombies, but the smoke provides a cloak for Sam as he navigates cautiously. His methodical movements eventually lead him to the roof. On the rooftop, he deploys Sarah's hook to launch a rope toward the adjacent building. A relentless zombie in pursuit, Sam leaps without much deliberation, colliding with the wall. After a disorienting moment, he awakens, relieved to have eluded the undead menace. A zombie lurks at the window below, prompting Sam to ascend to the roof's apex, where he gazes upon the city's skyline. Distant sounds reach his ears, kindling hope that they might herald the presence of other survivors in the otherwise desolate world.